The grand ballroom fell into complete silence the moment the billionaire's daughter ignored the line of wealthy heirs, famous entrepreneurs, and powerful executives waiting to win her hand. Instead, she walked past every expensive suit in the room and stopped in front of a quiet single father wearing an old jacket, holding the hand of his little daughter. Gasps echoed through the crowd as the billionaire stared in disbelief. His daughter had just chosen the poorest man in the room, completely unaware that her decision would uncover a truth capable of changing their family's future forever. Before this emotional story begins, if you believe true love is measured by character rather than wealth, please like this video, leave a comment, share it with someone who believes in second chances, and subscribe to Kindness Paradise. Your support helps us continue creating inspiring stories that remind us that the richest hearts are often found in the humblest lives. Arabella Sterling had grown up surrounded by unimaginable luxury. As the only daughter of billionaire industrialist Victor Sterling, she had everything money could buy: private schools, luxury vacations, designer clothes, and a future guaranteed by one of the largest family fortunes in the country. Yet despite living inside magnificent mansions, she often felt trapped by expectations she had never chosen. Every business partner hoped she would marry into another powerful family, strengthening alliances worth billions. Victor believed that choosing the right husband was not only a personal decision but also a responsibility to protect the legacy he had spent 40 years building from nothing. On the morning of her 28th birthday, Victor announced a formal reception at the family's estate. He invited influential businessmen, successful entrepreneurs, accomplished professionals, and respected community leaders. During the celebration, he surprised everyone with a public declaration. Arabella would be free to choose her future husband from among the distinguished guests. Although he insisted the decision was entirely hers, everyone understood that each invitation had been carefully selected to include only men with impressive achievements and substantial fortunes. Arabella smiled politely throughout the afternoon, but deep inside she felt disconnected from the entire event. She had spent years volunteering quietly at community shelters without telling the media or even her father. Those experiences had taught her that kindness, integrity, and compassion mattered far more than luxury cars or expensive watches. She feared that everyone gathered in the ballroom admired her family name more than they truly cared about her heart. Meanwhile, across town, Owen Carter hurried toward the Sterling estate carrying a small toolbox in one hand and holding the tiny fingers of his 7-year-old daughter, Lily, with the other. Owen had been hired at the last minute by the event company after several electricians unexpectedly called in sick. Since losing his wife during childbirth, Owen had raised Lily completely alone while working multiple jobs to provide a stable life. Whenever schools closed or babysitters canceled, Lily quietly accompanied him to work, sitting patiently with coloring books while her father repaired lights, wires, and electrical panels. As Owen finished adjusting the ballroom's lighting system, a sudden power fluctuation threatened to plunge the entire reception into darkness. Without hesitation, he climbed a maintenance ladder and repaired the faulty connection within minutes, restoring the elegant chandeliers before most guests even realized there had been a problem. He quietly gathered his tools, hoping to leave unnoticed before the celebration officially began. While walking through the garden with guests, Arabella noticed Lily sitting alone on a bench reading an old storybook. Curious, she sat beside the little girl and soon learned that her father worked incredibly hard every day so they could stay together. Lily spoke proudly about Owen, describing how he never missed bedtime stories, always packed her school lunches, and somehow found reasons to smile even after exhausting days. She never complained about having less than other children because, in her eyes, her father had already given her everything that truly mattered. Those simple words stayed in Arabella's heart. As the evening continued, she quietly observed Owen from a distance. He treated every employee with respect, thanked the kitchen staff after they served him a simple meal, and politely refused extra payment because he believed honesty mattered more than opportunity. He never realized that the billionaire's daughter was watching every small act of kindness that revealed his true character. Finally, the moment everyone had been waiting for arrived. Victor invited Arabella onto the grand stage and proudly announced that she could now choose the man she wished to marry. The ballroom erupted in applause as dozens of wealthy guests straightened their jackets, confident that one of them would soon become part of the Sterling family. Instead of approaching the line of millionaires and executives, Arabella slowly walked across the ballroom toward the service entrance where Owen was quietly preparing to leave with Lily after finishing his work. Every eye followed her in stunned silence. She stopped directly in front of the confused single father, smiled warmly at his daughter, and gently said that if she were ever to build a future with someone, she wanted it to be with a man whose greatest success was not his bank account but the love, humility, and integrity he showed every single day. The ballroom exploded with whispers of disbelief. Victor remained frozen on the stage, unable to understand why his daughter had chosen a poor single father over some of the wealthiest and most influential men in the country. But what none of them knew was that this unexpected choice was only the beginning of a story that would reveal a long-forgotten promise, challenge every assumption about success, and forever redefine what it truly meant to leave behind a worthy legacy. The ballroom erupted with whispers as Victor Sterling stepped down from the stage, unable to believe what had just happened. The powerful businessmen who had arrived expecting to become part of the Sterling empire stood in stunned silence. Owen Carter looked completely overwhelmed. He respectfully explained that he was only an electrician, a widowed father who had come to repair lights, not to become the center of attention. Holding Lily's hand, he quietly apologized and prepared to leave, believing there had been some misunderstanding. Arabella gently stopped him. She explained that she had not chosen him because of sympathy or impulse. Throughout the afternoon she had watched how he treated every person with kindness, how he spoke respectfully to the staff, and how his daughter looked at him with complete trust and admiration. She believed that a man who could raise such a loving child alone possessed a kind of wealth that could never be measured in money. Victor was deeply disappointed. After the guests had left, he invited Owen into his study. Instead of insulting him, Victor calmly asked a single question: how could he provide the life his daughter deserved? Owen answered honestly. He admitted he could never promise private jets, luxury yachts, or billion-dollar investments. But he promised that Arabella would always be respected, protected, and loved. He said that every important decision he made would place family before fortune because that was the lesson life had taught him after losing his wife. Those words stayed in Victor's mind long after the conversation ended. Curious, he quietly asked his security team to learn more about Owen's past. A few days later, the investigation revealed something remarkable. Owen had once owned a successful electrical engineering company with several valuable patents. Years earlier, when his wife became seriously ill, he sold everything he had to pay for her medical treatment. He lost his business, his savings, and eventually the woman he loved. Yet despite losing almost everything, he had never abandoned his honesty or his responsibility as a father. Victor also discovered another surprising fact. Several former employees described Owen as the kind of leader who always paid salaries before paying himself. During difficult times, he had personally helped struggling workers instead of laying them off. Even after losing his company, many of those employees still spoke of him with gratitude and respect. As Victor reflected on these discoveries, he remembered his own youth. Before becoming a billionaire, he too had started with nothing but determination, integrity, and impossible dreams. Somewhere along the journey, he had begun measuring success by financial statements instead of character. Owen reminded him of the man he used to be. A week later, Victor invited Owen and Lily back to the estate. This time, there were no wealthy guests, no cameras, and no grand speeches. Victor simply walked toward Owen, extended his hand, and thanked him for teaching him a lesson he thought he had learned long ago. He admitted that he had almost rejected the very qualities that had once helped him build his own success. Rather than offering Owen money, Victor proposed something different. He invited him to lead a new division within the Sterling Foundation that would provide technical training and career opportunities for struggling single parents. Owen accepted on one condition: every participant would be judged by dedication and character rather than social status or financial background. Victor smiled, knowing that was exactly the answer he had hoped to hear. Months later, the foundation had transformed hundreds of lives. Single mothers and fathers received professional training, stable employment, and the chance to rebuild their futures with dignity. Owen became a respected leader once again, not because of wealth, but because people trusted his compassion and integrity. Arabella worked beside him every day, and together they discovered that their shared purpose created a stronger bond than either of them had imagined. On a beautiful spring afternoon, surrounded by family, friends, and many of the people whose lives had been changed by the foundation, Owen and Arabella were married in a simple garden ceremony. Lily proudly walked beside her father with a basket of flowers, smiling brighter than anyone else. As Victor watched his daughter embrace the man she loved, he realized she had not chosen the poorest man in the room that evening. She had chosen the richest heart. If this story touched your heart, please like this video, share it with someone who believes that true love is built on character, leave a heartfelt comment, and subscribe to Kindness Paradise for more inspiring stories. Special request, please comment, character is the greatest wealth. As the afternoon sun bathed the garden in golden light, Victor finally understood that fortunes can be inherited, businesses can be built, and money can be earned again. But a kind heart, unwavering integrity, and unconditional love are treasures that no billionaire can ever buy. Sometimes, the greatest legacy a parent can leave behind is learning to recognize the value of a truly good person.